Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Travel Mole broadcast, and I'm delighted this time to have a friend of mine from the travel industry who we spoke about just over a year ago about their performance with the travel trade and how they were doing. And this is a revisit. So welcome, Guy Novik of USAirtours.
Good morning, Graham.
How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah. Happy with the way things are going generally. Very, very pleased to see COVID disappearing in the rearview mirror at a fast rate. So no, things are good.
Good. I wonder if we could return to a couple of the themes. I mean, I think the initiative for our interview last time was that some agents were a little bit disappointed with the way you were dealing with them. At the time, you said, well, that we have made mistakes, but an awful lot of people have been loyal to us. But we will, once this is all over, once we've established, we will go and chase those agents we've lost. How are you doing on recovering those lost friends?
Sure. I did review our chat about a year ago, and certainly there was a lot of discussion about some of the bruising encounters that were caused as a result of COVID. And as I said back then, I think now looking back with the calm, cold light of day, we looked at things then and thought, well, okay, I can see why we did that from a survival mode, but given the chance to review that, I think we would have done things differently. I think we certainly would have communicated things differently. And I'm sorry for the effect that had. But I'm pleased to say, a year on, we've done very well in getting the vast majority of those agents back on board. And I think that's happened because we've kind of reached out in a number of different ways. First of all, I've put myself out there at various events and conferences, and I've had some good heart-to-heart conversations with many business owners. And also, we've sent a lot of other staff and representatives out to various events, because whilst having these sorts of conversations online are convenient and we can reach everyone very quickly, you can't really beat sitting down and having a chat with someone, particularly if you're trying to resolve issues. So I'm very pleased with how we're doing. I had a little look in July. We're currently dealing with around a third more agents in July this year than we did in July last year. So more than a third of agents booked with me in July 23 compared to July 22. And I think that's a mark of how many active agents we are reaching. And that's a combination of agents that never dealt with us before and a number of agents who've returned to us.
And we spoke about ways of communicating. We spoke about road warriors, about people, getting into their cars and actually going knocking on doors and agents. And you said, well, yeah, maybe, but that's sort of thing of the past. Do you now, in retrospect, think that COVID actually has given reason to go back to those days to a certain extent? You mentioned it there, that pressing the flesh, seeing the colour of one's eyes, that's actually, if you're trying to establish a decent relationship with someone, that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah, I think with hindsight, again, particularly if it's either a new relationship or you're trying to have conversations on some potentially sensitive areas, I think actually sitting in front of someone in the same room is beneficial. And despite the fact that I'm quite an evangelist for home working, I think it's good for certain things, but it's not good for everything. And one of the things we decided to do during the last year since we spoke, in fact, was to rejoin Tiptoe. So from September this year, we are going to be out in the field at all the Tiptoe events, talking to agents and all the things that are organising up and down the country. So that's sort of one of the areas we've decided to reinvest and actually have conversations. And I'll be attending a number of those myself, because I learn a lot when I hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
Sure, I'm sure you do. What about your own staff, your communications with your own staff? Obviously, last time we spoke, that your staff got stellar reviews about the way they were handling things. You spoke about getting rid of HQ, getting rid of a physical building. I think you've probably done that, although I don't know. Has that worked out? Have you been able to retain staff, or has that caused problems? How are you working with that?
Yeah. So when we last talked, we were just going through sort of internal discussions with staff about how they felt about where they wanted to work, and we gave them free rein, I think, for about a 4-month period, having given them all laptops, and we said you have free choice to work from either your home or from the office or for a combination of the two. We just let them do what they wanted to do, and I think we never reached double figures on any one day in the office. And then on the back of that, having further discussions, we said, look, we've got a couple of options. We could downsize, we could go to a smaller office or a serviced office where people come in from time to time, or you could just go and work from home. And the vast majority said, we'd rather work from home. And we continued from an experimental perspective. We've got a small number of staff who live within a walking distance, as it so happens, of central Chelmsford. So we're using a serviced office there. So we've got a small number of staff doing hybrid work, but everybody else working from home. And pre-COVID, we had 82 staff. At the worst point of COVID, we went down to 32 staff, and now we're back up to just under 70 staff. And I would say one of the reasons why we've been able to grow and recruit experienced staff is because we have adopted this home working policy. So we've now been able to get access to experienced, talented staff living all over the country. So we've got people working from us from literally Land's End to John O'Groats. But we get together 3 times a year. So we have a conference in London where we pay staff to come down and put them up overnight, depending on how far they've got to travel. So we all get in the same room and talk about things and discuss things 3 times a year. And I consider that those 3 days to be the most important days of the whole year, because I think we've been able to address some of the concerns about recruiting talent, which I know a number of my contemporaries at other companies are saying trying to recruit experienced staff has been a challenge. But I think by adopting this home working policy, we've been able to address that.
Looking back pre-COVID, is there anything that you miss? Is there things that you miss from pre-COVID? I mean, was it pre-COVID? It was, it's basically like shelling peas, really. You were selling holidays, letting the thing run, easy peasy, and then suddenly this horrible thing comes along and shatters everybody. You actually you've actually had to work for your living, so to speak, rather than just reap the benefits.
Yes, I mean, I think probably the biggest thing that, when I think about it, is that we had such a good relationship with the trade. USAirtours is trade only, so we are wholly reliant on the business that we get from the trade, and in return, agents know that if customers ever go on our website or got brochures or got our documentation and contacted us, we would refer them straight back to the agent. We don't take any, if somebody tries to make a booking with us, we just don't deal with the public. So that's very supportive and reassuring from an agent point of view. But COVID came along, very difficult for everyone, and it harmed a number of our relationships, and I really regret that. So what do I look back on fondly pre-COVID? Just having great relationships with everyone, and it's taken, COVID nearly 3 years ago now. It's taken 3 years to rebuild in a number of areas and a number of relationships. So yes, I look back pre-COVID fondly, but now we're nearly back to where we were.
Good. Now that's all in the past. What about the current trading situation and the future trading situation? I assume, like almost anybody in the travel industry at the moment, you're doing well, you're selling holidays, but how do you view, is that true? And secondly, how do you view the next 12 to 18 months?
Sure. So our financial year end falls September, and we will achieve a higher level of sales than we did in the year immediately prior to COVID. So that's very positive. And I think that has broadly been achieved by dealing with more agents, because I think in some cases, recessionary, we might not be in a technical recession, but I think people have got less money in their pockets. I think there may be less footfall going through certain agents. So if we want to grow our business, we may not be able to do that dealing with the same number of agencies, because they may just not have enough long haul business coming through their doors. We've already seen reports from some of the credit card companies saying that they've noticed a shift from long haul holidays to short haul holidays as money's become a bit tighter. So for us, it's about expanding the number of agencies that we're dealing with if we want to stand still, let alone grow. So in terms of how do I see the next 12 to 18 months? I think if interest rates continue to stay around where they are for the foreseeable future, we'll say call that a year to 18 months, then I think money will be tight. I think the pie, the total number of people traveling long haul, is likely to shrink. And therefore, we have to continue to work really hard to maintain and grow our little slice.
Do you think it's a possibility that you might have to buy or start savouring a different flavour of pie, so that perhaps you become Asia Air Tours or French Air Tours or Spanish Air Tours?
Well, I think it's a very good question, something that comes up for discussion strategically here about once a quarter. We have been putting in a lot of effort in the last 12 months to increase our Canadian and Caribbean business, and that's been growing nicely. USAirtours is a great name, but of course it does exactly what it says on the tin. And therefore, if we want to start selling other long-haul destinations, should we be doing it as a different brand or a sub-brand? And we are looking at that, because we know that our reservations team has, a very good reputation and very good relationships with agents who would probably buy a wider range of product from them if it was available. That said, I am well aware that we are experts in our field. For us, it's a real differentiator. If an agent calls us versus another tour operator who sells the world, they are likely to get someone who's competent, but not a specialist in a particular area. So the USA is still hugely important for us, and we only sell a small percentage of that market. So I am looking at other destinations, but we are going to continue to try and maintain our position as the experts to the USA.
Lovely. Well, I wish you all the very best of luck with that, Guy. Maybe August 2024, we can have another chat and see where we're at then.
Yes, that would be great.
Cheers.
Bye now.